German Shorthaired Pointers are not only great hunting dogs, but they are also wonderful family pets. My name is Krista Mosley, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about this specific dog breed. My husband and I have two GSPs. Our female, Noli, we got from a breeder in 2009, and our male, Blue, we rescued from a humane society back in 2011. Sometimes with a rescue, you can run into certain issues like them being gun shy. Lucky for us, neither of our dogs had this problem, so we knew we could go ahead and train to hunt them. Although they are wonderful, versatile dogs, they certainly do keep us on our toes. GSPs are not meant to be house dogs only. This is super important to know, and they were born and bred first and foremost to hunt. If you are not able to exercise them frequently and get them in the field, they will drive you crazy at home. There have been times when I have come home to dog bed stuffing slung out all over my house, chewed up shoes, broken decorations, especially during Christmas time when the tree is up, half-eaten garbage, and vomit on the carpet and results to the eaten garbage. Although this is extremely frustrating at times, especially when I have just walked in the door from working all day, it is, in the end, my own fault. If those dogs are not exercised or have an outlet for their energy, they will use it elsewhere. Regardless, GSPs are amazing dogs, and it really is wonderful to watch them in the field to do what they were born to do. GSPs are mainly used for upland bird hunting. If you're not familiar with hunting, upland birds are quail, pheasant, grouse, chukar, partridges, and a few more. My husband and I specifically hunt chukar, quail, and pheasant mostly. Training a hunting dog is a process. There are a lot of resources that can be used to train your dog yourself, and there are also a lot of places that you can take your dog to be trained by somebody else. There are a few steps that need to be applied in order to have a successful hunting dog as well as a successful hunt, and this is what I'm going to share with you today. GSP's job in the field is to locate the bird through scent and to stop a few feet away from where the bird is bedded down. This is the first step in the process. Once they locate the bird, they are to stop and point it. This is where the pointer part of their name comes in. A perfect point looks like the dog standing straight with one of their front paws bent and their tail straight back. But because dogs are not always going to give you the perfect point, they could be standing with their back legs up or they could be wagging their tail. My dogs have done this before, but regardless of the way their point looks, the most important thing in this situation is that they are able to locate the bird. The way the point is something that can be trained and adjusted. Now, after they point the bird, they are supposed to hold their position as to not scare the bird into flight. This second step, and one of the most important in my opinion, can take a while to train if you are doing the training yourself. This is where things can get tricky. My husband and I did all of our own training ourselves on both of our GSPs, and let me tell you, it was not easy. Doing all of the training yourself does take a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of determination. For the most part, the dogs caught on well because they were doing what was in their nature, what they were designed for. But the holding part was still the hardest because ultimately they just want to get the bird. After my dogs would locate the bird, getting them to hold their point was a chore. They would run straight into it or run straight over it and scare it up before we were even close enough to get a shot off. With a lot of discipline and practice, though, they finally got it. So, after the dog points, they are to stand still until commanded to do otherwise. The command that we use for our dogs is the word hold. We repeat the word hold as many times as needed while one of us walks up to flush the bird and the other one shoots. This takes us to our third step. Flushing a bird basically means to scare it up into the sky so that the shooter can get a good shot at it. Certain birds like quail tend to fly lower than, say, a pheasant would, and this is super important to take note of when shooting the birds because if it is too low, you could seriously injure or even kill your dog if you were to take the shot. Some hunters like to have their dogs flush the birds, but my husband and I like to flush it ourselves so that we can better control as much as we can the direction that the bird tries to fly. After taking the shot and hopefully hitting your target, it's the GSP's turn to retrieve it. Now, there are hunters that like to do their upland bird hunting with retrieving dogs specifically, like a lab or a retriever, because sometimes it can be hard getting your GSP to retrieve because their natural instinct is basically to point, not retrieve. Lucky for us, ours love to retrieve. Sometimes they will both help carry the bird back in their mouth, and this is something that we didn't even really have to train them too much on. The first time we took our female out to hunt, this was before we got our male, we were very concerned about her retrieving because she would refuse to do it during training. But to our surprise, she retrieved perfectly. My husband shot a bird, and our girl got it and brought it back through a plot of standing water. She swam right through it, climbed over a hill, went under a fence with barbed wire, and dropped the bird straight at his feet. It was amazing, and we couldn't have been more proud of her. When we got our male, his first instinct was to retrieve, even before pointing, so we knew with retrieving in him we would be just fine. German Shorthair Pointers can be incredible hunting dogs, but they are also a wonderful family dogs. The first thing we did with our dogs before training them at all was just to love on them. We snuggled them, we hugged them, we loved on them day in and day out, pet them as much as we can, and this established a great relationship between us and in turn helps out significantly in the training process, especially if you're doing it yourself. My husband and I believe that in order to have a successful hunting dog, they need to know that they are part of the family. And we were able to see that because of this, they are also gentle with kids, but they are still fierce in the field. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. With all of that said, I hope that you enjoyed what I have shared with you today, and I hope that in turn you have a better understanding of the German Short-Haired Pointer and what they were born to do. Thank you.